Alright everybody, welcome to Earth Science. Next lab is to, and this isn't going to show up great on camera, but it is to attempt to make a topographic map of this island right here. Volcanic island. Okay, so what you're going to need. One of those, one of these lids over here, and depending on when you go in the lab, maybe they're sitting in the drying rack, maybe they're over here, who knows. You're also going to need from back here, if you would, one wet erase marker and one ruler. So bottom two drawers right there. Wet erase for sure, not permanent, and not dry erase. Okay. These instructions are written very much like, remember the Lego lab we did where you had to write instructions and follow steps? These are written very specifically like that. Now, this is not going to be on paper. I suppose if you want a paper one, I could print it out, because we're going to be dumping a lot of water in here. Maybe it's not a great idea to have your computer and the water right on the same thing. So either put your computer like on a different desk if you have the space, or say, hey, Mr. F, give me a paper one so I don't ruin my computer. At all times, volcano on the left. There you go, like that. The premise here is that we're going to put one of these lids on here and slowly, incrementally fill this with water. Because essentially that's what a topographic map is like. I mean, if you have the outside being 0 feet above sea level, the sea level would raise for 100 feet, the new shoreline would be the 100-foot contour line. And if it were to raise by another 100 feet, the new shoreline would be the 200-foot contour line. So water that will fill this and encroach upon the peak will draw a topographic map for us. You'll get the hang of it. If it sounds intimidating, don't worry. It's really not too bad. Follow those instructions, you'll be fine. So yeah, let's check out a couple. So, yep, each line is going to be 100 feet of elevation, and we're going to trace. It'll be grand. All right, so your first step is to put a centimeter ruler on the side like this, and starting at the bottom, you're going to just mark off centimeters. There's a chance that on some of those it's already on there, depending on how much the person before you cleaned. So just make dash, 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 dash every centimeter, working your way up, and those are going to represent the elevations that we're going to fill the water to. Next, say, hey, Mr. F, I need some food coloring. I'm not going to leave these out for people to make a mess with. I'll put a couple dabs of food coloring in the corner of your thing, and then we're ready to start filling. So you'll need to come up to these guys and grab a graduated cylinder or something to pour, a big beaker. You do end up using quite a bit of water, so don't grab like a 200 ml one, or you're going to be going back and forth all day. Get a nice big one and pour water up to wherever that first line is. Then, here's the meat and potatoes of this lab. Throw the lid on, and you're going to trace the shoreline with the wet erase marker. And you're going to do that by looking down on the top. It does not look great on camera as I look at this. It's not too bad in person though, especially if you put it over some white paper. So I want you to look straight down, and I know I don't have water in this now, but you'll be tracing exactly where the shoreline is. It'll stick out pretty good, especially with the food coloring. Now, if you try to sit back at an angle like this, and be a cool guy and you know, just kind of close enough, you're looking at it at a weird angle, and I promise it's going to get difficult quick, even if you're relaxing here for a second. So get up over the top, lean over a little bit, do it straight down, trace the shoreline, then yank this, fill water to the next level, put it back on, trace the shoreline again. Do that over and over again until you get right up towards the top here. And when you get right up towards the top, call me. I'm going to help you out with this very top one so that we can talk about something kind of specific. Okay? Then you'll have a topographic map on this plastic sheet that represents the topography of this island right here. For the lab, each partner, you can have partners to do all this, but for the lab, each partner needs to trace this topographic map onto a piece of paper. People do it over at the windows. People do it by making a ramp in between some books and putting a cell phone light underneath and drawing on paper. How can you do it? Be clever. They figure it out every year. Trace that onto a piece of paper. If you lose the very ends because the paper isn't quite wide enough, it'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Just go off the map. Okay? Then just clean up your stuff. We use wet erase marker because when you go over to the sink and hold it under the sink, you're going to see that it all just comes right off. You don't need to scrub or use anything. Just hold it under a little running water. This thing will be perfectly clean. Chuck it in the drying rack, and we're ready to move on with the other parts of the lab, which involves a little bit of labeling and some things like that, but I can help you with that. Okay? And there will be some questions. But again, this part won't actually be paper. You'll be doing it on the computer, as per usual. All right. Excellent stuff. Good luck. Keep up the fight. Thanks for listening.